Hey guys, welcome back to Skyrim PC mods converting to Xbox 360 part 3. So last time we looked at converting texture mods and fixing the bugs that can happen with textures that are too high resolution, and we looked at creating DLC so that we could get .esp file mods to work. So what we can do now is put multiple mods into one DLC container. We don't have to create a new DLC file for every mod. That would just be ridiculous. So and really time consuming. So what we're going to do instead is just get the rest of our mods and put them all in this one DLC. So we're going to be doing a weapon mod, map mod, and a spell mod. I'm going to show you a few different conversion types that you can do, because some mods can be converted in different ways, as in one mod can be converted in two separate ways to work, and I'm going to show you how. So first of all, we're going to go into our conversion or our PC mods, and let's have a look at, I don't think I'll do the realistic lighting overhaul because there's so many. They're all just ESP files, but there's so many of them that it's going to be a bit annoying trying to import all of those. So what we'll do instead is just do the other mods. So we've done Pure Watchers, we've done Enhanced Night, we've done Death Star Moon and the custom main menu. So let's do a map mod first of all. This is the Asteria airship, which adds a big floating player home, basically a big ship that floats in the sky, and it is a player home. So a really cool map mod. So we can just, it's just an ESP file, so we can just add it as an ESP. Now I'm not sure if this is necessary, but I like to do it anyway just to sort of organize everything. Wherever the xlast file is, the project directory, you want to put all the mods that you're going to be putting into that project. So we've got that. Let's have a look. Exploding Chickens is just another .esp, so it can go in here as well. I'll just paste that in, and then we've got enhanced. I'm not sure if I said this, but if you haven't watched part 1 or part 2 already, then you'll probably have no idea what's going on, so please go back and check and watch part 1 and part 2 before coming on to this video. So we've got chickens, the Asteria airship. Let's have a look. Lanterns of Skyrim, copy these. You can see Lanterns of Skyrim is a ESP and a .bsa file. That can be both, even .bsa files can be added into the DLC, so we'll just do that. And we've got Summon Meteor, I'll go into a bit later on. So we'll just go with those, and we're leaving the lighting overhaul out. So if we go back to our xlast and right click on content, add file, and we'll go ahead and add these mods. And then all you have to do is test on local Xbox if you have everything set up, and it will create the DLC on the Xbox for you. And yeah, that's it. We've got Lanterns of Skyrim installed, Exploding Chickens, and the airship installed, map mod. So that's all pretty basic. Now the next thing that's a bit different is Summon Meteor. As you can see here, this is a scripts folder. Now you could add the scripts folder directly in, but I think it's better to compile it into a .bsa file like the Lanterns of Skyrim. So to do this, again on the Skyrim conversion tools, we've got a program called Test Archive. You double click and open this. All the download links will be in the description for all this stuff. And there's also a .bsa compression, which will show you how to what settings to put on when compiling. You know, if you're compiling textures, you have to have a few different things ticked, which are slightly different to compiling sounds or textures, meshes and other stuff. So what we're going to do here is just go and get this set up. So scripts are called MISC, so we're going to select MISC and we're going to retain file names, make sure that's ticked, and Xbox 360 archive. That's all we need for MISC, and then we just click on edit, add directory. We'll head down to PC mods, summon Meteor, and we've got the scripts folder, so we can't just add the scripts folder. This is something I forgot about. We actually have to create a data folder, because the data folder is the root directory. Just like in the actual main game directory, you've got Skyrim, then a data folder. So the data folder is the root directory. So even when you're compiling these mods together, you need to make sure you have everything inside a folder called data. So I'm going to create a new folder, call it data, and put the this in here. You don't actually have to put the ESP, just the scripts in the data folder. And then what we're going to do is edit, add directory, locate the files, and where are we? We've got summon Meteor, data, scripts. So select scripts, and it says root dir data. That's the important thing. So the scripts have been added. Now all you just have to do is click edit, check all items, which will check all of these items. Then you just click file, save as, and call it the same name as the ESP file. So if I go back and summon Meteor, the ESP file is called elemental list. So I'll copy the name, elemental list, and make that the same name as the .bsa file that we're creating. And we just click save, done, did it instantly, because there's not that many files in there. Renaming temporary archive, and that's it. We can close out. And now I had to move it. I've saved it into the wrong place, but save it into your mod directory, and there it is here, .bsa. If I open this in the Fallout Mod Manager, you can see we've got scripts, source, and that's all compiled correctly. So now we can add these two into our xlast. So right click on contents, add files. Oh, I need to put these in the DLC folder first. Okay, now right click, add files, and elemental list. And elemental list, so the ESP and the .bsa we created go in there, and that's us converted that spell mod. So yeah, all you have to do is test on local Xbox, and that should all be working now. So the last mod that we're gonna convert are the Magicka Sabers. Magicka Sabers is a bit more complicated, because quite a few things go wrong with Magicka Sabers. If you've downloaded a pre-converted Magicka Sabers, you might find the textures not loading properly on the handle. I kind of showed you how to fix that with the Pure Waters in part 2, but this requires some extra work with this one. So first of all, let's go and copy the Magicka Sabers ESP file and put that in the DLC, and then add that in to content. Okay, so now we've got the Magicka Sabers ESP file in here. We now need to add the textures and meshes and the sounds. So if we go to sound, we've got FX, and then we've got WPN, and then Magicka Sabers folder. So we'll copy that and go to our game directory. I'm going to sound, FX, WPN, paste the Magicka Sabers in here. They are WAV files, but don't worry, they will work. You don't need to convert them to XWM or whatever it's called, because the ESP file launches them as WAV, so it will work fine. Next, we need to do the meshes, so we go to meshes, weapons, Magicka Sabers, and on here we'll go to meshes, weapons, And go ahead and copy paste the Magicka Sabers, and I put them in the wrong place. That's Windows 7 for you, thanks very much. Right, didn't want to put them in a folder, just wanted to put them in the root here. Okay, so there we go, Magicka Sabers should be added into meshes. There they are. And finally textures, weapons, and textures, weapons, Magicka Sabers. Okay, so that will now work, but you're going to have the same problem we had with the Pure Waters texture mod, where the textures are not going to load. And with Magicka Sabers, there's two reasons why this happens. If you don't fix both reasons, then it's not going to work either way. We've got the same problem with the texture being too high resolution, and we have a different problem to do with the mesh that we need to fix. So let's go and look at the textures first of all. So they're too big at the moment currently. If we have a look at the hilt, which is the texture for the handle, it's too big, so we need to resize that first of all. You can see the original size is 2000 pixels, far too big, so we're going to stick that down to 256 by 256 and save it. Make sure we generate bitmaps, DXT5 interpolated alpha, and then we're going to go hilt_m. Again, it's a 2K texture, so we're going to stick it down to 256 and save. And the last one, hilt_n, again is 2K, oh 1K, still convert that to 256 by 256. And that fixes that. Then we've also got a problem with the crystals. So if we resize this, you can see the height is 512. Even though the width is 256, because the height's 512, it's still not going to display properly. We need the height is the important one that needs to be changed to 256, so we're going to have to change the width to 128, and that will change the height to 256. So there we go. And save, DXT5, interpolated alpha, generate bitmaps. So do that with all the crystals, so that's all of these. You can leave the blade, it's fine. I think, I'll just double check. But change all the crystals and the hilts to 256. This crystal N is a bit large, but yeah, that's the same, 128, 256. So just do that with every single one, and blade is fine, it's 256 by 256 already. So just do that to all the textures. Okay, so I've just done that to all of them now. You can see the file size is significantly reduced. So they'll now display properly. You'll be able to see the handle, or will you? Actually, no, you won't, because there's a problem with the meshes as well. This doesn't happen often where you've got both of them to fix, but in this case there is a problem with the meshes as well. So we go into meshes, weapons, Magicka Sabers, and open up one of these, and these files are opened in a program called NIF Scope, which is included in the conversion tools. If you have a look here, we've got it, NIF Scope up here, this program. So just set your meshes to defaultly open with NIF Scope, or choose a default program, NIF Scope. I know there's a creation kit option, but don't choose that, it never works. The creation kit just crashes. So it's really the handles that you have to edit here. So if we open up the first handle, you can actually see the mesh in 3D. And down the bottom here, you're looking for something called NI Tri-Shape Data. Expand that and scroll down. And this is what we're looking for, num UV sets. So in num UV sets, if it's set to 0, leave it alone. don't touch it, don't edit it. But if it's set to 1, like it is at the moment, we need to change it to 4097. Sounds a bit weird, but that's what you've got to do, and that'll fix that mesh so the texture should display properly on it. And that's it. So just save as, save over the original file, replace it, and that's it done. So we fixed that. You don't need to do it with the actual light that comes from the lightsaber, the moving objects. I mean, it is, you can do it if you want. It'll make it look a bit better, I think, but if you leave it alone, then it will still look normal, it'll still work okay. But it's just the handles really that are the important ones that you have to change the NI tri-shape data to 4097 and save. So do that with all the handles, which I have done in a separate folder. And once you have done that, it should now display perfectly. And that's us pretty much installed the Magicka Sabers mod. In fact, that is us installed the Magicka Sabers mod. Okay, so the final mod that we are going to convert before we recompile the original archives is SKYUI, which changes the user interface of Skyrim, like your inventory or inventory, however you pronounce it. It changes it to one that shows the carry weight and everything, and you don't have to use the scroll bars anymore, and it works on the Xbox. I tested it last night. So what we're going to do with this, as you can see, it's just a plugin file and a .bsa archive, so they can both go inside our DLC container. So we'll add files, and I keep forgetting to copy them into my DLC folder project directory. So add files, add SKYUI, the ESP and the .bsa, and that's that done. We can now click test on local Xbox, and that failed for some reason. Could not build content, lanterns. Okay, this can sometimes happen. Invalid file name. If you get an invalid file name, the only reason is that it's too long normally, so you just need to rename it to something shorter. So I'm just going to rename it to Lanterns of Skyrim. And if it's an ESP file or ESM file, like this one's an ESM, it needs to be renamed as well to the same name as the BSA file. So they're both called Lanterns of Skyrim now. Not such a long name. So now if I test on local Xbox, it's working. I can tell it's working because it's frozen for a little bit while it builds. And if I scroll down, package build completed, resigning content, metadata, installation files on Xbox, install succeeded. So that's all we have to do with that. I'll save my project and close out of this now. Okay, so now that we've got all our mods installed, we're going to recompile our textures so that the game loads faster. We don't need to recompile anything else apart from, don't recompile the meshes. Okay, I've had problems when recompiling the meshes, so I just leave meshes alone. If you recompile the textures and the sounds, the game should load up within about 10 seconds, which is fine, a lot faster. So let's do textures first of all. So what we're going to do is open up test archive like we did before, which is part of our Skyrim conversion tools. And for textures, we're just going to select textures, Xbox 360 archive, and we're also going to want to embed file names for this one. And we're just going to add directory. Because we've already got the data folder, we don't need to create one, so we can just go ahead into our Skyrim folder, go to data, go to textures and open. So it says the root directory is data, and it will add all the textures. as you can see, quite a lot. Now this does happen a lot of the time when you're recompiling these massive amounts of files. It'll say not responding. Just don't click on it, just leave it and let it do its thing. It may look like it's frozen, but it isn't. It is doing its job. It's just the graphical user interface that's kind of frozen. In the background, it is doing its job. It is adding all the files. So once it has added all the files, there you go. It will just load. The blue bar will just load right to the end, and it will add all the textures in. So just go to Edit, check all items, and then all we have to do is File, Save As, and delete the original textures.bsa file because we're remaking it, we're recompiling it, and call it Skyrim -textures, like the original one was called, and save. Again, this might say not responding, but it is working, so just, yeah, there it goes, says not responding, but just give it time and it will complete. Okay, so that is the textures recompiled now, as you can see. If we open it up in Fallout 3, you can see it's structured in the correct way. We've got Skyrim-textures, then we've got the textures, weapons, and we've got our like Magicka Sabers and stuff in here now. And what I've done is renamed the folder that was called textures to one textures, which just making it a different name basically, which means that the game will not use the textures in this folder. It will ignore that folder now and use the ones that are in the .bsa archive, which will allow it to load a lot faster. So don't do it to meshes because it will screw up. Just leave meshes as the folder and the original meshes.bsa file. Otherwise you get problems with draw distance. But we can do it with music and sound. So if you have a look back into the conversion tools, I've added a text document called .bsa compression. If you open that up, it gives you the structure for everything that you're recompiling. So sounds is sounds, voices, retained file names, and Xbox 360 archive. So sounds, voices, retained file names, Xbox 360 archive, and then you want to just add directory, add sounds wherever they are. Make sure you structure it in the correct way, like the original one was sound first, then music, so add sound. Add those. Okay, and then we just go to Edit, check all items, File, Save As, save it to, I will save them in here as Skyrim-sounds. And you can see that's it finished now, so I can close this off. You can delete the little .bsl file that comes with it if you want. It's not relevant. And that's that added. So if we open this up, we'll have a look. Sounds, and then we should have sound, then music, which is fine, and that's it. So the original folders need to be renamed so the game doesn't use those, otherwise it'll take a long time to load. So we'll just put a 1 in front of them all so that they're not used. And that's it. The game should now load a lot faster. It should load in about 10 to 20 seconds, usually 10 seconds, and your mods should still work. So I'll go over to the Xbox now and show you all the mods that we've added, like the SKYUI and just what the great game world looks. So let's go and do it. Okay guys, back over to the console here, and you can see the difference on the Magicka Saber handles. I might need to reduce the texture a bit more because some can sometimes glitch out, but the majority of them, as you can see, the texture's loading perfectly on them, just the way they should look. So that's that working, and let's just have a look at the, see if Exploding Chickens is working. Yep. And now everybody in the village is pissed off at me. Lanterns of Skyrim are working, as you can see around the village. There are lanterns added, so that's all working fine. And what else did I... oh yeah, SKYUI, which changes the user interface. So if I select Magic, give it a few seconds on the Xbox, and there we go, we've got our SKYUI. Much nicer looking menu that tells you the cost and level of everything. Pretty awesome, and it's the same on items as well. The downside is it takes a few seconds to boot up, but we do get the menu, and it's working fully on the console. You can use the left stick to scroll down. You know, if you want to select an item, then you press right trigger, or A obviously to select an item, but if it's a weapon you'd put right trigger, and D-pad to scroll between the options like this. And if I want to select, say, this weapon, I just right trigger, and it's a two-handed weapon. And you know, there you go. I mean, that's the SKYUI working fine. And our water textures and all that good stuff. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this long tutorial. Apologies for that, but I had a lot to cover. But we have learned how to convert quite a lot of mods, just to show that the map mod's working. I mean, not going to actually travel because it's going to take too long, but there it's showing up on the map there, the Asteria airship. And yeah, that's it working. Sorry, I just had to do that. Yeah. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, please remember to leave a like, and of course comment if you have any questions. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I will hopefully see you guys in my next video.